Hi, I'm Lisa Jones Barker here in Western States Health Strategies Department. Myself and a few of our colleagues have taken the time to put together this quick video to help you and everyone you work with, and even your family, eat a little better. Here at the American Heart Association, as you know, we're dedicated to helping people live longer and healthier lives. We've developed Life Simple 7 as that guide to help everyone achieve ideal cardiovascular health. In addition to the three health conditions of blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood glucose, there are also four healthy behaviors that comprise Life Simple 7. They are move more, don't smoke, lose weight, and eat better. It's that last one that we're going to focus on today. How to eat better, whether you're in a home office or if you're in an AHA office during a meeting, or even at one of our wonderful events that we have. We want to provide an environment always, wherever we are, for people to be able to make those healthy choices. Because achieving a healthy diet is one of the hardest ones of those Life Simple 7. So if you're not familiar with AHA's Healthy Food and Beverage Guide, you can find it here on the Healthy Living page of AHA's website. We have two versions, one for workplaces and another for communities. The community version is a guide designed for non-AHA types of organizations and communities, including faith-based organizations. They're housed online because sometimes nutritional science evolves a little bit, and we want to be able to make those quick changes, so we're always providing everyone with the best and latest information. So for the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to provide you with a high-level overview of everything you need to know to eat better.
Hi, I'm Lisa Bellini, registered dietitian in the Greater Bay Area office. Here's an unfortunate fact. 2/3 of Americans are overweight, which puts us at risk for heart disease and stroke. Making changes at home, in the workplace, because we spend a good portion of the day there, as well as in the community, can help. This is making health the default. Here are some of the recommendations from our Healthy Food and Beverage Toolkit. 1. Have a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. 2. Have fiber-rich whole grains. We need 3 1-ounce servings every day. 3. Eat fish for protein, especially the oily ones like salmon and tuna. 4. When you do have fats, choose less saturated fats like butter and more monounsaturated fats like avocado, walnuts, and olive oil, and also polyunsaturated fats like canola oil. Have non-fat or low-fat dairy when you choose cheese and yogurt. 5. Eat at least 4 servings of nuts, seeds, and legumes. A serving is a 1/3 cup of nuts, 2 tablespoons of seeds, and about 1/2 cup dried beans, which is 1 cup cooked. 6. Try to eat less sodium. Can you choose the no-salt snack version of foods such as pretzels or crackers? Anything that is packaged is a source of sodium. The good news is that the label can tell you how much it contains. 7. Limit the amount of added sugar you consume. This does not include the sugar that is naturally there, as in fruit. Have no more than 6 teaspoons of added sugar for women and 9 teaspoons for men. Just by reducing or eliminating the sugar-sweetened beverages like soda, you can cut out the majority of sugar in your diet. In its place, have some spa water that's infused with herbs or berries, maybe lemon or lime. Desserts can still be tasty when you choose things like baked apples, poached pears, or even grilled peaches. 8. Choose lean cuts of meat and avoid those fatty ones like bacon, sausage, or salami. And avoid those that are cured or salted or maybe have chemical preservatives. And 9, remember reasonable portion sizes for protein. This means that regular sizes might need to be cut in half or quarters to get the recommended 3-ounce serving size. I like to make these smaller portions look like more by using them with kebabs and roasted vegetables, or maybe in the form of mini meatballs. I like to pair cubes of cheese with berries or grapes. Now you have the broad overview. Next, you're going to hear some details on how to work with your caterer.
So how do you work with your caterers, say for a meeting then? I'm Rena, and I wanted to share a digest of how the guidelines come to life when working with your caterer for a meeting. The other title for this section is What I Know for Sure in 11 Years of Meeting Support Following the Healthy Eating Guidelines. If you have to serve food at your meeting at all, researching and planning according to your meeting size, duration, location, and budget should all happen even before approaching a caterer. Ask your participants in advance about dietary needs and restrictions. Make healthy selections. For breakfast, fresh fruits, fruit parfaits, oatmeal, and eggs are the go-to. Make your selections healthier. Pay attention to how they are prepared or what ingredients are used. Ask for low-fat or fat-free plain dairy like yogurt and milk. Serve boiled or poached eggs, never fried. Use whole wheat if you must serve bagels or bread. Hot meals for lunch. Skinless chicken is great. Roasted, poached, grilled, steamed, or baked. For the perfect pair to a nice lean sandwich, substitute fresh fruit cups for chips. Hold the mayo and the salt. If you are offering a buffet, include a fish option and a vegetarian option if possible. On the day of the meeting, get what you pay for in a good way. Finally, thank your caterer for helping you serve a heart-healthy meal to encourage them to keep offering healthier options. At the end of the day, serving heart-healthy food at all your meetings is the right thing to do. Next, you will hear how to work with your caterers at events.
Hi, I'm Jill DiGiacomo, Vice President of Operations for the Bay Area Division. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how to work with a caterer when planning an AHA event. The first thing to know is that you'll want to be sure to share the Healthy Workplace Food and Beverage Toolkit with the caterer, specifically calling out pages 13 and 14. They have some really specific guidelines on what we'd like to serve at Heart Association events. Things like putting olive oil on the tables in place of butter. If serving bread, making sure that it's whole grain. Not putting salt out on the tables is another one. And preparing food with minimal salt if salt is needed at all. I'll talk a little bit about our specific fundraising events, so starting with Heart Walk. First, at our Heart Walks, you shouldn't really need to serve any beverage other than water, except maybe coffee and unsweetened teas if you have a morning Heart Walk. And then at our hydration station, do think about the possibility of a freestanding self-serve water dispenser with compostable cups to cut down on waste. And then lastly, at Heart Walks, we want to think about our food and whether or not we might be able to display the ingredient list for the food we serve, and if at all possible, the nutrition information. And then with our social events, one thing that will be really helpful is to have anyone who's attending a tasting with your caterer to have them read pages 13 and 14 of the Healthy Food and Beverage Guideline ahead of time, and maybe even bring a couple of copies to the tasting so you can be sure that the menu matches the guidelines. And then lastly, for our social events, consider if dessert is really necessary. And if you determine that it really is necessary, think about offering fruit, or if traditional desserts are served, bite-sized desserts, and ideally fruit-based. I hope you find these recommendations helpful, and next up, you'll have a chance to test what we covered in this video.
Hi, I'm Jenny Gatlin. It's time to test your knowledge here. Let's start with dessert. At a meeting, what is the best option for dessert? A, cookies, as long as they are small. B, fresh fruit. C, dark chocolate. D, low-fat ice cream. The answer is B. At meetings, most of the time, we don't really need dessert, but fresh fruit is an option. The other answers all have excess sugar and can be offered occasionally, but not regularly. Next question, what about desserts at an AHA event? What is the calorie max we want to aim for if we're serving a more traditional dessert? Is that A, 75 calories, B, 100 calories, C, 200 calories, or D, 350 calories? The answer is C, 200 calories. What does 200 calories look like in a traditional dessert? Well, I looked that up. They're bite-sized, they're small portions, and you shouldn't really offer a buffet of them. Next question, true or false? At an AHA meeting, as long as options are available that are in alignment with our healthy eating guidelines, we can also order and serve unhealthy food. As an example, we can order a pepperoni pizza as long as you also order a salad for everyone. Is that true or false? The answer is false. It's not about the options available. We really do need to model the behavior and not include foods that are high in fat, sodium, and excess sugar. So instead of the pepperoni pizza, consider a veggie-based pizza or a pizza with a lean protein and limited cheese. You might even offer a whole wheat or a vegetable-based crust. All right, last question from me. You have a small whole grain roll offered with your meal. Which option can be served with the rolls? A, butter, B, margarine, C, olive oil, or D, coconut oil-based spread? The answer is C, olive oil. We do not want to serve butter or other oils like a coconut oil that are high in saturated fat. Margarine is not ideal either because it usually has hydrogenated oils. So that's all from me. Cherish, what other questions do you have?
Well, Jenny, I do have a few more questions for our friends. Hi, everyone. I'm Cherish Hart, VP of Health in the Puget Sound region. Today, we heard a bit about beverages, so let's start by putting that to the test. Which of these 4 items could you include in order for a meeting? A, Mountain Dew, B, Diet Pepsi, or C, San Pellegrino Tangerine Water? If you said C, you're on the right track. Sugary sodas shouldn't be included, Mountain Dew or otherwise. We know that they aren't good for our health, as sugary drinks are the top contributor to empty calories. Diet beverages are not a preferred choice either, but if you want something bubbly, a sparkling flavored beverage, as long as it's less than 10 calories, is just fine. Question 2, true or false? Bottled water is the best choice for events and meetings. The answer is false. Now, that's not to say bottled water is bad. In fact, it's a good choice. It's the healthiest choice. However, as Jill pointed out, before jumping into single-serve beverages, it's good to think about alternatives that are good for our immediate health and a sustainable environment. Rather than using individual bottles of water, explore whether pitchers or large containers of water are an option. Or make it a little more interesting and add fruit, veggies, or herbs to a water container. Add a little spa to your day. Last question. Which of these are good options to provide during a conference or meeting break? A, hummus on a vegetable tray. B, cookies. C, fruit. D, baked chips. All of those, except the cookies, would be acceptable. However, the more you can focus on veggies and fruit, the better. We heard from Lisa Bellini how we're lacking those in our diet. better yet, before automatically ordering a snack for your breaks, consider whether they are truly warranted and whether you can add some non-food options for your participants. I know I've been at those conferences where I walk away feeling like I've been eating all day. There might be opportunities to integrate physical activity, games, or networking time in place of or in addition to a healthy snack. Thank you all for playing along with Jenny and I and for learning with us today. I'll now turn it back over to Lisa Jones-Barker to wrap us up.
So, how did you do on testing your knowledge? Hopefully we provided you some good information here that you can take away and help others eat better in your work at the AHA and at home. You know, staying abreast of nutritional information is always a good idea. It's not only good at work, but it also helps in your everyday life with your friends and your family. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to any one of us here on the video or take a look at the Healthy Living website. There's lots of information there that can go a long way to helping you help others eat better. Thank you for joining us.